questions are coming in live from the phone number, so if anybody else wants to text to the phone number, you can text your questions to our first gen panel at 385-243-1971. If you have any questions, that's how you can text them into the first gen panel. We have a few coming in, so we'll get started. Let's go to Brian Fullerton with this one. What would you recommend if I still feel like I'm not meant for college?
Ooh. Like you just, I wish I had a little more context on that. I think the biggest thing is just, it depends what you're feeling on not feeling like you belong, so to speak. So for me, making the right types of friends was big, kind of making those connections. And then other than that, I guess if you're feeling like you're struggling with academics, I would make sure you talk to your professors, make sure you're aware of what resources we have available on campus. We have awesome tutoring services. A lot of students underutilize their office hours with their professors. That was a big part for me, is building relationships with those professors to really get their help, get their feedback. And that also actually helped with my first point, which was to feel more connected to the campus as I felt connected to professionals here.
Can I just add something to that, Maddie, real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So, and I appreciate what Brian said, because all that is true. I think my biggest part of that was, when I came as a first-gen student, I felt like everybody else was smarter than me. I'm going to be honest, I felt like all of these people know exactly what they're doing, and I have no clue what I'm doing right now. And it took me realizing that I was as capable as anybody else, or that everybody else was just human, for me to go, I belong in this classroom, or I belong, at this university. And it took me a while to actually do that, but it's when I finally broke that barrier down, that I was behind everybody and with everybody, that finally I felt like I connected.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we have other questions coming in. We'll go to Heather Garcia for this one. Where did you turn to find out what is happening on campus? Seems like I never know where to go and when.
Yeah, let's see. When I was a student, that was something I struggled with a lot, because it seemed like I was always late to the party. Everyone knew things about upcoming events before I did, but I think there's so many different ways you can find information on campus nowadays that, if you're not really in the student center, you can always, everything is posted on the SU app. So if you don't have the SU app, you should definitely download it, and there's a scroll. If you click the top image, there's a flyer scroll of all the upcoming events, and there's a calendar that syncs kind of every calendar on campus into one calendar. So you have athletics, you have registration dates, you have upcoming student events, important dates, things like that. So if you have a smartphone, I definitely would download the SU app. And then also, if you just don't know, go to the NEST, the Student Help Center. They always kind of know what's happening on campus, and if you're bored or need to know what's going on that week, just pop on in and they'll help out. So those would be my two easy go-to answers. Yeah.
Love that. Love those answers. Okay, this one's for Kamilla, our current student, first generation student. What is one thing you've added to your college routine that's helped you be successful?
I think actually making a routine helped me. My freshman year, because I didn't know what I was doing, I just kind of was like, oh, this thing's here, I'll just go to that. Oh, this is happening, and I kind of put off a lot of things I was supposed to do. So by like the second semester and then even sophomore year, I kind of had to build it, like actually making, I'm very visual, so it helped when I just went on like an Excel sheet and put in, this is when I'm at work, this is when I have a class and what class it is. This is when I'm going to study homework. Oh, there's an event this day, I'll put that in my schedule. So just slowly kind of like actually putting it in a way that worked for me, which was seeing it physically just in front of me, helped me a lot to actually have a routine. Say, hey, I need to be done with homework about this time, or I need to start a new piece of homework at this time. Oh, and then I can have an hour break and then go to like that party or go to the SPP event, things like that. So actually physically making something helped me a lot to just figure out what I was doing and get that routine down.
Can I add to that too? Sorry.
Please do.
So in high school, like you just go with when the bell rings, you go to your next class, and there wasn't much freedom or choice. So I had that same mentality when I came to college, and when I went to class, and I went home, and then I went to class. But like someone gave me the best piece of advice my second year, because I definitely struggled academically my whole time, both in my undergrad and my graduate. But treat school like a 9-to-5 job, or like high school when you're on campus. Just come in between classes, stay on campus, and do your homework in between classes, because then home is home and school is school, and that way you're not going home and having to do homework really late at night. You're using that time in between classes, because I definitely did not take advantage of that downtime. I was the one that just went home and watched Netflix, or joke around with friends, which is good for you, for your soul, but not your grades.
Good for the soul, not for the grades. Love it. Okay, as a reminder, you can text these questions in. We have a few still coming in at 385-243-1971. That's also a phone number that you can reach the First Gen support staff at any time of the day or night. You can text any questions to that number. All right, our next one I think would be best suited with Brandon. How would you recommend getting a job, or would you recommend getting a job your first year in college? I don't know if I could handle it with all my homework.
That's a really good question. And I'm going to say that depends. For me, I needed a job. I had to support myself while I was going, and it took a lot of what Kamilla was saying, getting a schedule and learning how to balance those things to be able to be successful in school as well as in my work. I didn't have the financial support that I needed to be able to go to college, so that was a necessity for me. I worked for 4 years. In fact, the last 3 I worked full-time while I went to full-time school, and so I had to learn to balance a lot of things, but I was able to do it. And one of the things that, in my opinion, anybody can be successful who's willing to work hard and put in time but learn to balance those things, as Kamilla had talked about. And so one thing that an advantage of having a job does is it boosts your resume as well. Employers like to see that you work during college. They like to see you're involved during college. And so, if you don't have any work experience when you leave here, it's really hard as a person who helps with your resume to put it together a resume that looks attractive to employers if your last job was at the, your local drive-in there at your hometown. So I would really encourage, getting a job at some point, but making sure that you're capable and able to balance those things as you do that.
That's very good advice, thank you. Okay, Heather Garcia, H, this one we'll give to you. What would you recommend doing if I do not have a support system for college?
Ooh, that is a good question. So that was kind of me. My parents, they're kind of MIA, so when I came here from northern Utah, I was kind of a lone wolf, and I didn't know who to turn to, and it was different because in high school I was so invested in extracurriculars, so when I came here it was kind of like a shock to my well-being. But yeah, no, that's definitely a true question and true feelings, and I think if you don't have a support system, I think that goes back to just give a little bit of effort and you'll find someone. So if you just visit the Nest and talk to an ACE, they can point you in different directions if you need support for a specific thing about finding a job. They'll help you find an individual in the Career Center. If you're looking for a support system and you enjoy the outdoors, they can help, direct you to the areas that they need to go to. So if you don't have a support system, that's okay. We have so many people on campus who are so ready to be your support system. You just have to be a little awkward and uncomfortable for one conversation, and then it'll just take flight from there. So just make sure you put yourself out there a little bit, go to events, find groups, find your mentors, and they'll take care of you. I don't know, is that it?
That's
What would you?
No, I would just add, there's so many different clubs, there's so many different places. Like I run the PE building, and so we get a lot of just kids that like sports that come over and they want to play sports, and all of a sudden they start building a network there within that, and then the next semester, hey, let's be roommates because we get along, we see each other all the time, we're looking for somebody, and all of a sudden you've kind of built some of that into those. And so just finding those like-minded people sometimes, or I have a cousin who's going here right now, and she's like, I just don't feel that connected to people. And I'm like, well, start with your roommates. And she's like, but we don't have the same interests. And I'm like, well, you're going to have some same interests.